it, and you know it, and you know it. Ah!
What's up, guys? Episode 4? 4. Episode 4 starting now. Just thought I'd talk a little bit to start this one off. Pretty critical stuff. Just as you saw, got an all-time, low weigh-in for this cut. 1.5 kilos down now, under a week. It's starting to slow down, which is to be expected. It'll slow down, it won't be dropping off as fast, sort of thing. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you. I think we've established that you can eat foods you want to and still lose weight. I've ate out twice in the last 4 days, or the first 4 or 5 days of this cut. I've eaten plenty of foods that I like. I've eaten a lot of it. I've had close to 3,000 calories on plenty of days. Pretty much every day so far, and I've still dropped 1.5 kilos. Obviously, your calorie intake might be a little different to mine, but the point is you can still fit in some foods that you like, as long as you're training hard and you're smart with your diet as a whole, and you're in a deficit. Now, the next thing I wanted to say, though, is I have a limited sort of time frame, or I'm aiming to do this in a limited sort of time frame, and I don't want to go too extreme, but I'm going to use every tool that I can to optimise my fat loss in this short period of time without losing any muscle, so I can get straight back into surplus and start lifting heavier. If you keep eating like this, you keep following what I'm doing, you eat out every now and then, you find yourself dropping a little bit of weight, it will really slow off and you'll kind of hit a plateau. You might still lose a little bit. If you are in a deficit, then you will still lose some, but it is going to take a lot longer, and you might lose your patience. Now, number one tool, I think it's not essential by any means, but it's very, very handy to lose weight and to lose it a lot quicker. If you are counting macros along with me, doing it with a carb cycle. Okay, you may have heard of carb cycling before. A lot of you are probably just thinking, what the hell is he talking about? Basically, what it means is you will still hit roughly the same amount of calories for the week. You'll hit the same amount of carbs that you would. So say you had 200 carbs a day. Over the 7 days, you hit 1,400. Now, instead of eating 200 a day, you'll start by having some really low days, maybe one high refeed day and a couple more low days or something like that. You can structure it differently. You can go one low, one high. It depends on how your body just reacts to the carbohydrates yourself, or just what your personal preference is. The point of having the low carb days is to try and drastically increase that fat loss, okay? By shooting back up, it can get your metabolism going again and thinking that the carbohydrates are coming, come back down, and then your metabolism's kicking, your hormones are flowing, but you are depriving it a little bit of carbohydrates on those lower days. So therefore, it's dipping into your fat stores. One thing you do need to remember, though, is having your fats and proteins quite high. Mine are a little bit higher on the low carb days, and on the high carb day I've dropped them just a little bit because they aren't as necessary because you're having so many carbs. I'll put my carbohydrates on the screen, hopefully, if I can figure out how to do that, or my carb cycle on the screen, I should say, on what I'm doing for the next 5 days and how my setup's going to work. It's going to be an average of about 2,550 calories, I think. So a little lower than it was last week, but that's to be expected. Okay, I'm dropping weight, and I want to kind of get some good results in this week as well, just to kind of show you guys how it can be done, sort of thing. So this is what this series is about, not just me getting results. Obviously, I want to lose a bit of weight, but I can do that without putting a camera on. I'm doing this to try and help you guys. Well, I want you guys to come along with me, try and follow this journey, follow this format I'm laying out, and try and get results for yourselves. So that'll conclude this little carb cycle. If you have any other questions, I know it was only a little brief overview. If you have questions on it, just ask me in the comments section. I can go into a lot more detail if you have any specific questions from it. If you need more detail, you can look it up on the internet as well. There's plenty of it's very commonly known with a lot of weight loss diets and a lot of bodybuilding stuff. Like, a lot of people use this through competition prep. So if you are prepping for competition, you really want to know how this works and stuff. I've done this in previous cuts, and it's been that, especially when it's got to a harder point, it's been that thing that's kind of got me to the next level of fat loss sort of thing when it has gotten really difficult. So I will see you very soon. We've got a fair bit on today. I'm trying to tick through those to-do lists. I've got gym session. I'll film that later, and we'll see what else we'll get up to today, and I'll film it for you along the way. So tip number 1 for low carb days is having a 0 calorie drink. Or this one isn't quite 0 calorie, I lie, but drinking a coffee. Coffee's not going to last that long, but 0 Powerade, things like that with no calories in it, so you can kind of prolong in between your meals, so you can fast a little bit and prolong when you need to eat those carbs. So what I've got here, ticking 2 birds, 1 stone, no carbohydrates, very low calories, it's only pure water mixed in with BCAAs. Essential amino acids, really good for you, especially when you are cutting to try and maintain muscle growth. These things are basically the building block to all your muscles, so therefore you're not really losing any muscle mass, or it can help you retain as much muscle mass as possible whilst you are in a deficit. They can be expensive in store. I suggest My Protein. They're one of the cheapest ones going around, but they're just as good as anyone else. Really good brand. If you do just want to use something to get you through the days between the meals, just use any 0 calorie drink will be fine. Tip number 2 for a low carb day, using seasonings over sauces. Seasonings over sauces. Anyway, using seasoning over sauces for your flavour, putting it on your meats, anything that it's going to go with. I just put garlic powder on a cheese roll to make it sort of a garlicky cheese bread. Using things like that, it will fluctuate your weight a little bit because of the up sodium. It will mean you retain more water and get a bit more water weight, but don't worry about that. That's not fat weight. It is only water weight. That'll come off over time, and it saves you a lot of carbs and a lot of calories that you would get in the sauces. Little insight into a low carb day. Plenty of protein with the turkey mince here, and so many greeneries. First time I've eaten veggies in a while. There's this many of them anyway. Great way to add a bit of substance to this, because there'd be very little here otherwise, and it's only like probably 6 carbs in all the veggies there, so heavily suggest eating some veggies, even though myself don't really like them much. Alicia's going on a gym session now. She didn't train with us earlier today, so I'm going to go and film her session and have a bit of a play. Get it? Get taller, mate.
kidding? This is intense as fuck. Oh, fucking Shredzilla.